Board, how they're working.
Bob isn't in yet.
Is Bob in?
It's letting him in. It hasn't let him in yet, though. There we go.
Let me know when he's in, Hannah.
He is in.
He is in, okay.
Sure.
I'd like to call to order, Town of Pownell Special Select Board Meeting, June 2nd, 2022. Special board meeting with the Planning Commission, and a working session with, the proposed ordinance for solid waste. Board members roll call. Mike Gardner.
Angie Rawling.
Jamie Percy.
Bob Jarvis.
Brian Harris. Approval of the agenda. Sorry, Jamie. Working session regulating the disposal of solid waste ordinance. Public comment and adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Okay, so before we get started, I know that there's an attached section here that Bob is sending, and we worked on, or Bob worked on, with some changes. And I think if I remember correctly, at the last meeting, we, as a group, when I say that, I mean the Planning Commission and the Select Board were fairly close in an agreement on a trash ordinance. So that being said, I don't want to spend a lot of time on trying to add a whole bunch of pieces to this one particular ordinance that we're working on. I'd rather concentrate on this one that we're working on right here, as we've already discussed it, and then move forward with something different on another ordinance or whatever. I think it'll have more. I think it'll be much easier for people to understand if we don't have
Too much.
try to encompass a whole bunch of things in this. I'm sorry, you never do that. If we don't try to encompass a whole bunch of things in this one particular ordinance.
Is it, can I ask,
Sure.
is it easy enough to add things later as we get, if this starts to improve the look of the town? If we decide to go after more of the junk stuff that we took out, would that be easy enough to add?
I think we could add it without a lot of problem, or I think we could write another ordinance that is specific to,
Let's see how,
right, let's see how it
see how
goes.
this goes.
That's right. No, I think that's, kind of what I'm looking for. So with that being said, I'd like to open the working session, at this time, and Bob, probably should, because we have this in front of us.
Sure. If you'd like me to get started, I can. So the first part of it's fairly just exactly what we talked about in the last session, and that was the opening paragraph did make a lot of references to state statute granting the authority to regulate the things that we were regulating with this ordinance, with the exception of the outdoor markets. We did, and thanks to Tara, we were able to find the right statute in order to reference. There is nothing, the state of Vermont does not recognize flea market as flea market. They have no definition for that, but they did, but there is an ordinance that grants, there is a statute that grants municipalities the authority to regulate outdoor markets, outdoor sales, and the language is all there. In fact, I can read what we added. Maybe that's a good way to go.
It's the white color, right?
Well, it's red on my screen, so I'm not sure. So I added, what I added there is, if you can see where it says 24 VSA 2297, it's about towards the end of there. Towards the end of the original paragraph, I added the line, the power to license or regulate itinerant vendors, peddlers, door-to-door salesmen, and those selling goods, wares, merchandise, or services who engage in transient or temporary business, or who sell from an automobile, truck, wagon, or other conveyance, excepting persons selling fruits, vegetables, and other farm produce. And I think we had already exempted that anyway.
Right.
But that's the exact language that we were able to find.
I don't really see how that, I don't see how that applies to a flea market. You said there's no language in the statute that anyone found for, I didn't find anything either for flea markets.
Well, it'd be a,
Well,
Be
they
a
don't have a
vendor.
definition for flea market, and that was the closest definition there was.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
Well, I think it,
tax though.
I think it doesn't directly say flea markets or tag sales.
right,
But it says, and those selling goods, wares, merchandise, or services.
right.
Right, and that covers
I
everything.
think that would cover, I think, and there again, I'm not a lawyer,
No,
but I believe in a transient or temporary business,
yeah,
I believe it would cover the flea market tag sale type of stuff.
Right.
That's
and I
my,
think-
that's my opinion anyway.
Mine too.
I think it would.
anyone consult with a lawyer on this?
Well, hey, yeah, I'm about to address that. So we reached out to the VLCT lawyer. The VLCT originally responded back with, we charge for the services to review an ordinance, and gave us pricing. So rather than go that route, I would feel much more comfortable, and I think the board would too, but that's up to them, with our lawyer being the one that actually reviews the ordinance for Pownell. But then what we did was we went back and changed the questions, and we're more precise about the questions. And then they responded back telling us that there is no such thing as a flea market according to, there's no legal definition of flea market that the state of Vermont recognizes, but they did give us this statute that regulated outdoor sales. So, or to the extent that I just read it.
Yeah, that's what I found when I researched it as well. There was no language regarding flea
Specific,
markets
yeah.
at all.
But I think that's the right thing to
Yeah,
put in that particular opening paragraph. Now, there was one other change that, and maybe I'm opening up the same conversation, but and this is what I was struggling with last time. So I'm going to paint a hypothetical, and no, I don't plan to open a business like this. But if somebody wanted to open a business where they were running a flea market or a tag sale, and they were allowing locals to come in and set up a tent or whatever, if they're being respectful, if they're cleaning up every night, I don't understand, and I don't think it's appropriate for us to limit that to 3 days. I mean, it could be a perfectly valid business model to open on May 1st and close on October 30th and have different vendors come in. And whether you're selling stuff out of your home or home stuff, or whether you're selling stuff that you bought and are marking up for a profit, or just allowing other people to sell stuff. I don't see how that makes a difference.
Well, I think that the main thing is the that we have to enforce the cleaning up between, every night.
Right.
And I don't know how that woman in Wilmington does it, but that flea market in Wilmington is immaculate, and during the year, you'd never know what it was anything, it's like a field.
I agree totally. It's a really nice event, and that's what I don't want to do is limit that event. So all I did in this doctored up, and I left track changes on, so the original is still there.
I think taking the time limit out is a good idea,
Well, I think,
but the cleanup, I'm not on board with that.
so I think, to speak to your point, Bob, with something along this line, if someone were to come in and run the very type of business that what you're saying, I believe they'd have to come to our DRB and they would have to apply for a permit. And at that point.
I believe that's true.
What's that?
I believe that's true.
Right, our development review board, they are a quasi judicial board, and they have that authority to put on stipulations, guidelines, whatever. You can operate from 9 in the morning until 9 at night, or whatever they want to do.
Well, okay, and I did think of that. So, so when I took out that one line, all I did was line out, shall last no longer than 3 consecutive days. But over in that, hang on, over in the margin, I put a note in here to kind of, because it might inform some of our verbiage. So, I said not need to limit leaving outdoors for greater than 3 days, but not limit opening for more than 3 days. We should add a statement on intent, both what we want and that it is not intended to limit entrepreneurial opportunities. A business that would like to be open perpetually or seasonally should not be limited by this ordinance, but should go through all existing approval processes in place for zoning and DRB process.
So what we need is we need the DRB to understand our intent, which is, you know, that we want it cleaned up and that we want conditions placed on any business, you know, we need to have it in writing that we want those conditions placed on any businesses, that they keep it clean.
Unfortunately,
So when I took out the outdoor sales, such as tag sales or free.
Yeah, I don't think we need those in there.
Hang on, it shall last no longer than 3 consecutive days. I took that out, but I added in, shall not have goods or debris left outside longer than 3 consecutive days.
That's good, yeah.
Because I think that's what
I think-
they meant, right?
so a couple of things to your point, Megan. First, we do have 2 DRB members sitting with us tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think they probably heard you loud and clear. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Secondly, and most importantly, is that the planning commission nor the select board can tell the DRB
Right.
what their job is. That's their job. We have as a board, and past boards have appointed the development review board members.
Okay, but the thing of it is, Mike, this, you know, the kinds of messes we're talking about have been ongoing for years, years and years.
I don't think there's-
So, it's not useful that you heard me and that I'm a nudge about garbage. You know, we need it in writing and we need it in our,
Well, that's what this is gonna do for us.
Yeah.
And when we, or not, adopt or not, this ordinance, whether we do or don't adopt it, as we come up with an agreed ordinance on it, the ordinance is placed to the DRB, will read this ordinance
yeah, exactly.
and act on it accordingly.
That's right.
But what I'm saying is, we have no authority to tell them what their
Well,
job
we
is.
do have the, so we do have the, you guys, you're elected, you know, and then you appointed. So we do have the people's, you know, the people, what the people want to see.
If we can make that happen,
It's passed.
if we can make that happen, what you're saying in the town of Pownell,
You got it made.
then Washington DC better move here because we got it made, okay? In all honesty, I know what you're saying, and I'm not trying to be rude at all, but I totally, and so I've said
I'm
this,
saying people are sick of it.
Can I
I,
make a suggestion?
sure.
So my suggestion is, I think the intent is well covered in both the paragraph and in the note off to the side.
Yeah,
What I would suggest is we take this as it is and send it off to our attorney, the town attorney, to let him know how, and ask him the question, how would you word this in order to achieve this goal?
I agree.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
And that's what I was gonna
Unless
say
anyone has
is,
anything to add, yeah.
your DRB gets more teeth
Yeah,
by our ordinances.
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
So once this is set, we're good to go. I agree. And we always have done that. Once we get language in here, whatever we're proposing, we always send it to the town attorney to finalize the language, make sure the legalities of it are proper. And to Bob's point, that's exactly what he doesn't want to limit is what is going on in Wilmington. That's not one person. That one person may
No, it's
supervise
Martha
it,
who runs it.
but there's multiple people that come in and do
Yeah,
tables.
But she keeps
And that's what-
control, she keeps.
That's right. There is one contact
She
point,
has.
but it's multiple people that are coming in and they have guidelines they
Make a
follow.
mess, you know?
So that's all I'm just,
Fred?
I think, I like the less aggressive approach.
Yeah, the 3 days is kind of extreme.
Yeah, it's, a lot of the language or a lot of the stuff that we were talking about previously, I think was a little bit heavy-handed and this kind of softens it up a little
Yeah.
bit.
I think it's
And I
good.
would say that, to my recollection, the town hasn't really dealt with a flea market, so we don't know.
Right.
The closest thing we've had to a multi-vendor event was the townwide tax sale.
Yeah, that's totally.
And people cleaned up.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think we can count the trust in people to be able to do the right thing.
Although there was one piece where we said that, somewhere, I can't even remember where it was, where we said, the thing about leaving things out free on the burn.
I have,
I'm happy to see that chair is gone.
I have.
It's not gone. It's still in his yard.
yeah,
Oh, it is?
Yes, it is. It's not gone.
right.
I think we were a little bit heavy.
I agree. I think that we need an ordinance, but we don't want to act like a city. We are a town. We are a little town. We want to be friendly with our neighbors.
This is from thinking about it for a month or so.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit heavy.
Yeah, no, that's why we came back, Fred. That's why we're back. Jimmy?
Yeah, I think, we keep talking about Wilmington, very nice people. And the board, the DRB has been approached by someone who wants to do this. And it was kind of put as a incomplete. And obviously this person's, I don't think caliber of person that is from Wilmington. Say that.
Needs a woman around it.
Well, I know, but I mean, this is first for us in Pownell, and it's not a very good experience, so I see. And, he hasn't been back yet, so,
Spider. On your back, Jim, you gotta.
he doesn't need that, so.
John, did you have something? John Bushy?
Yes, John Shady. I just want to say, I after reading through it, I do agree with what Bob put on here. I think going forward, after you start thinking about it, and when you look at other flea markets and stuff, they do have a run of that. It's just a matter of who's running the show. Has to have more control.
No,
It's not,
who's enforcing the rules?
well, it's not the town that's got to control it as much as the person who's running it. So we have to let businesses try to prevail, and that's what's going to help.
Right, and hold the business accountable.
But not,
As
but
far as this
not,
goes, I would go forward with that.
but it won't help Pownell, all this entrepreneurial talk, won't help Pownell if it looks like a garbage dump.
That's very true. That is the goal.
Entrepreneur that doesn't know how to make it look nice and attract people is not a real entrepreneur, and it's,
Well, I think, so I'll come right back to you in a second, Fred. I don't want to lose my train of thought. So I think, in my opinion right now, I think we're looking too much, I think as a group, we're looking too much in the rearview mirror. And I think that we need to, and I'm shooting from the hip here, guys, okay? I think we need to look forward. I think we need to stop looking in the rearview mirror because what I'm about to say is all of us that have been here for most of our lives, if not all of them, unless you came into town with blinders on, and unless you came in and got dropped off from a helicopter, you drove by everything that's there now. You drove by it. And I don't care which direction you came in from, you drove by something that's very similar to what we're looking at now. And I think we're losing track of what we're trying to do.
Right.
We're trying to stop that stuff We're trying to control what's there. And I think we need to stop looking at what has been. I think we really need to look at what we want moving forward. And I think, I just think we have to, I think somebody else said it, I'm gonna steal your phrase, I think it was Fred. And if it wasn't, I apologize to whoever. I think we need to trust in people. I think we need to trust in our development review board, to do the right thing. I think we need to trust in the people that we put in place, the planning commission, to come up with things. I don't think that's been done in this town ever. I don't think anybody's ever trusted in any of the boards to do the right thing and to make things happen in the right way and the correct way. And I think that's where we've lost as a town. I think that's where people have been able to get away with things that shouldn't have happened in the past. But I also think, I know we're on the right track. I really and truly know that we're all on the right track right now. We may have differing opinions when we sit here, whether it's planning commission, DRB, select board, whoever, you name it, Parks and Rec, you can go down the list. But at the end of the day, we come up with, all of us, at least in the last couple of years, have come up with something that we all felt was the best for the town of Pownell. And I think we just need to stop looking in the rear. Stop it. Look forward. Look ahead. Don't even look sideways. Let's look ahead. And I think when we start to do that on a regular basis, then I think we're going in the right direction, for sure. Fred had something first, meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, I think, the main gist of what we were doing with, trying to do with this is to take care of the, problem with, solid waste.
Garbage
Piling
bags.
up
Right.
there. I think sticking to that vision of what we were focusing in on for that, we'll take care of everything else.
Right.
And, I don't know if the DRB actually needs any guidance on that configuration for businesses. I think they take care of that regularly themselves. So I guess limiting, putting any limits on tag sales, possible flea market, if that one, we ever have one, might be premature.
I think what we've got now is not premature. I think it's looking back and looking forward. And I think Bob's changes of not limiting the
I'm
time,
not looking back at a flea market, never have.
well, it's billed as such.
Well,
Yeah.
not really, then you put up.
But anyway, the point being, that I think the changes are really good,
Jim had his hand
and that not limiting the time is the main change that you made. And I think the idea of putting in a little phrase about, our intent are not to limit entrepreneurial opportunities is good. And I think we should also say, as we say that entrepreneurial opportunities are expanded when the town is more attractive. People like, beautiful place.
Bob?
But when it looks like,
I do agree. I do agree with what you're saying, Megan, but I'm not sure it's appropriate for an ordinance.
okay, I agree with that. You're probably right, I just wanted to get that in there. But I think we should just go with it the way it is now, with your changes.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I just, people ask me about Pownell for a long, long time. I said Pownell is kind of border town and it's classic live and let live.
Yeah.
It's gone on for years. And I think it's time to make some changes slowly.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
it's up
generally,
to
like
people
my friends.
and just talking to them and get a little dialogue. Because basically, I can't see anybody destroying somebody else's property. That's the bottom line for me.
Right.
And it's hard to do, let's face it.
So
Bob?
Yeah, so I just want a couple of comments on that. I think over the years, and we need to fully appreciate how difficult that is, because when you want to do something to clean up this property or that property, every time you're risking somebody else's rights. And it's not an easy balance. And so I think I think this has done a really good job of it. And frankly, going through that, I mean, I pondered on this for a very long time and ended up adding one sentence to the opening paragraph and slightly changing one other sentence. So this was really well written to start with. There wasn't a whole lot of changes necessary, in my view. There wasn't a lot of changes necessary. Now, maybe when we get it back from Bob Fisher, there'll be a ton of changes. I don't know. But at least now Bob will know exactly what it is we're trying to accomplish. And he can advise.
So could somebody make a motion that we vote on this as it is now?
Well, I think,
I'll make a
Send it to the lawyer?
so
I'll
this,
make a motion.
okay, Bob, go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we, with the changes and the instructions, the comment in the margin, send this to our town attorney for his approval and his advice on wording.
Second it.
Any more discussion on this ordinance? Any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Mike, aye. So we're gonna send this ordinance as it's written, in tonight's, form. Would you make sure, Hannah, that that's the one that gets sent, please? So
And I
at
just
this
want
point,
to suck up to the planning commission one more time. That was a really nice job. I mean, that's one of the better ordinances we've seen come across the select board.
Thank you.
I'm gonna open public comment. In public comment, I have a couple of, letters that I'd like to read. One of them, I deleted a few things in here because it is, specifically references, certain addresses and places. But it's from Walter Klinger. Basically, I'm not gonna go through the whole letter. I'm gonna hit bullet points. Basically, what he's in his letter, he's asking about the trash accumulation along Route 7, south and along Route 346, and how to rectify that. We have a cover ordinance in place in town that we adopted, I believe, a year ago.
Yep, it was.
Okay, so, Mr. Klinger, and for everyone else that's wondering, there is a cover ordinance so that when you're going to, whether you're going to our transfer station, whether you're going to, the business on Church Street, or wherever you're going, there is a cover ordinance in place. Excuse me?
Are you talking about covering trucks?
That's right, trucks and trailers.
The haul.
Can we start enforcing that?
I believe that Joel has been.
Yeah.
I've spoken to him.
If he catches them.
I'm not saying it's foolproof, Megan. I'm not, okay?
You'd have to be there every minute.
But I do know, and I also know that, and I've said this before, and I've said it in open meeting. I go to Stewart's, Dwyer's, or Winchester's and get a sandwich various times of the day, and Jimmy will tell you this. And when I go eat my sandwich, 9 out of 10 days, I go sit at the firehouse parking lot in my pickup. And I watch what goes in and out of.
Oh, yeah, so yeah.
Okay, I know what's going in and out of. This isn't hearsay. This isn't somebody telling me. This is my eyes sitting there eating a sandwich or a bowl of soup or whatever I'm eating and watching what goes on. Okay, I know what's happening. I know who the habitual offenders are. I could name them off. Okay, I can name them off right now. I'm not going to. But if somebody thinks that I'm not aware of what's going on down there, you're sadly mistaken because I am aware.
Yeah.
I have spoken to Joel about it. He has written tickets down there, on 346. Some of them are just regular traffic violations for not stopping at the stop sign. When they come up through there, okay, that's fine, but what I guess my point is, we're putting people on notice
Yes.
okay, that we're not gonna tolerate this type of, behavior, this kind of, exactly, disrespect for our town. Okay, this is our town. I don't care if they come from North Adams or Williamstown or Shasberry or Stanford or, it doesn't matter. They're coming into our town, and as far as I'm concerned, they're disrespecting our town, our streets, our roads. And I think that I think our cover ordinance, I think our sheriff being down there, I think it's starting to put people on notice. Because what I will say is that the number of trucks and trailers going in uncovered is significantly lower than it was last year. Significantly lower. Is it foolproof? Is it 100%? No. Is it gonna be? No. I mean, let's not fool ourselves, but it's definitely significantly lower.
Williamstown helps a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No,
And some of them are coming out of there uncovered.
Yeah. Most of them are covered.
Yeah.
Stop at a house, going in, going to the next house. But I think when they hit the pound line, I think a lot of them are trying to cover.
No, they are, Jimmy. It's, the difference is significant from before we adopted the cover ordinance until now. It's a huge difference. And I think, I noticed there's a little bit less trash on the side of the road. Is it still there? Yeah, it is, unfortunately. But it's, I think there is a little bit less. And I think it's something we just need to continue working on all the time. Once again, moving forward. We're not going backwards, we're moving forward with things.
We need more people to join as road stewards, too.
So, one more correspondence that we had was from, Richard Rogers. And basically this came in on May 9th. He's talking about education. And I think he has a pretty good idea here. Actually, in his statement, he goes, in his email, I just got around to watching the April 19th Planning Commission meeting, which concentrated on the trash ordinance. One of the solutions discussed was how to educate people on what can be taken to the transfer station for free. This is spelled out in the town report and in the price list you get when you purchase your yearly dump permit. This misses a great many people, perhaps the majority of the townspeople. How about sending out a mass mailing to every address in town of a flyer stating what can be taken to the transfer station for free? If some of the ARPA funds are earmarked for trash, as the planning board is requesting, this might be a good use for some of them. And I think that's probably a really good idea if we can. And I don't want to act on it tonight. I just want to throw that out there, food for thought. I think that's probably a really good idea to get some education out there, because I don't think Richard is very far off. I think there is a significant number of people who don't understand what they can or can't bring to the transfer station for free.
I said that last time.
I know you have, and I just wanted to read this, Angela. I know you said that.
And I think we need to make it clear that when we say for free, you do have to buy the annual ticket, right?
You have to buy the annual sticker, which I think is $40 or
$40.
something, right?
Right. Just want to make sure that everybody understands.
Yeah, it's gonna go up 1st of July.
That's what I was gonna suggest, is that that's the direction we decide to go in with a flyer, to wait till after the 1st of July.
We got so much stuff for the rest of this month. It's not gonna happen till after then
I
anyway.
understand that, just
Megan?
make sure we have an updated
Any
price.
sense of, so you send it to the lawyer and then we wait for him. And then do you have a sense of then what happens? Then it goes.
We have to do,
Comes back to us.
We have 2 meetings.
we have to warn.
Public hearings.
Public hearings.
Yep.
Right.
And then we vote, what are?
Then the select board votes to adopt or not. And then we have to wait 60 days because there's a petition process that so many, a certain percentage of registered voters could vote to petition against this trash ordinance.
Okay, and then, so I'm just trying to get a ballpark sense of when,
Early fall,
early fall.
I would say at best. Unfortunately,
So
because,
this is not tied to other elections.
no, we don't have to have an election for this at all. This is strictly,
Oh,
the board can take care of this ordinance,
Somebody petitions to take the vote.
that's right, unless someone petitions to take it for it. Thank you, Fred, that clears it up for sure. But right now, the process would be if no one petitions, we send this to Bob Fisher. Bob reviews, makes corrections, changes, suggestions, whatever it is. We come back here again after Bob Fisher gives us, and maybe Bob Fisher says, this is good, go with it.
He gives us a rubber stamp.
That's right. And then we could, if that were the case, I would think we could probably schedule 2 public hearings once we find out from Bob Fisher, that this is okay, or little changes. We have our 2 public hearings, and they can be within the same week, I think, right, Bob? Because didn't we do that with the,
Yeah, for the 18th.
Yeah, I think it was Monday
They're
or
pretty
Thursday,
close.
something.
but they have to be within so many days apart anyway, but I think we could do them in the same week.
Yeah,
So, and then after those 2 public hearings, like I said, there's that petition process. And then if nobody petitions, then 60 days after our second public hearing, we could vote to adopt, the select board could vote to adopt that.
Oh, so it doesn't need to be a townwide vote?
No,
not for this type of,
No, not for this type of ordinance.
like the whole town plan, that was a whole different.
Yeah.
Basically, it is a townwide vote because the town elected us to be here, so.
It's representative.
That's true.
We're giving them something for their money.
So the only way it would have to be a townwide vote is if somebody petitioned it. But I seriously doubt that's gonna happen.
So with that being said, I'd like to open it up to, other public comment at this time. If there's anybody out there, certainly would, like to hear from you. I did have one more correspondence that came in, which was a bunch of pictures, specific addresses and places. And there's absolutely no way that we're gonna enter that into anything except for the garbage. Because that's just being, I don't agree with it, and that's where it's going, is in the garbage.
That we always state that we
I
don't.
think you should explain what you mean by that.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't agree that, it's just that we don't want this to be a thing where people are calling out their neighbors.
Exactly.
Right,
No, that's exactly what it is,
Right.
Megan. I am not,
That's why we wrote the ordinance. So
I am not going to allow,
Pick on people.
as the board chair, and I think my 4 other board members are with me on this, I know you are. And if I'm speaking out of turn for any one of you, please speak up, but we are not going to allow someone's property, whether we agree or disagree with how it looks, to be entered into the minutes of a meeting, in public.
correct.
Nelson took a ton of pictures for you as zoning administrator.
Yeah,
you're opening the town up to
I don't agree with that.
liability for
Yeah, a lot
one.
of frivolous stuff.
So if there's any more public comment, I certainly would welcome it.
Any hands?
I don't see any hands up.
No chats?
For chats.
What's the rest of the meeting?
It's gonna be about adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Mike, aye. Thank you, and thank you, Planning Commission, for the hard work that you put in on this. This was an excellent ordinance. Thank you.